ZKAccess is the security division of ZKTecho, and ZKTecho is the world's largest manufacturer of biometric and RFID readers. While biometrics is used in a growing number of applications today, ZKTecho primarily focuses upon physical security and time and attendance because these two applications provide our customers the greatest return on their investment. In physical security, our readers are used to restrict door access. And in time and attendance, our readers are used to prevent buddy punching. Buddy punching is an industry term used to describe the way employees can fraudulently punch into work for each other and then subsequently claim wages for unearned work hours. ZKTecho is a multinational company having over 19 global sales offices throughout the world. Wherever in the world your customers are, most likely there is a nearby ZKTecho office to assist and advise them. In addition to our 19 global sales offices, we also have 5 research and development centers throughout the world, all working on ZKTecho's next generation security technologies. Business challenge number 1. Today, there is no affordable way for Lenel customers to add biometric readers to their building in order to help improve their door access control. Today's biometric vendors only offer expensive readers, which also often need expensive middleware to enable their expensive readers to communicate with Lenel's on-guard software. Business challenge number 2. Today, there is no simple way for Lenel customers to add biometric readers to their building to help improve door access. Biometric vendors offer only complicated middleware software, which requires time to download, time to install, time to configure, and maintain throughout the year. This middleware is also very expensive, and an associated fee is often charged to keep the middleware updated throughout the year. Having to use a middleware also potentially creates other challenges for Lenel customers. For instance, the middleware could run very slow if it's competing with other software applications loaded on that same computer. This results in slow user updates, which could prevent newly enrolled users from gaining rightful door access. The solution for affordability and ease of use? Introducing ZKTecho Opera Readers. Model OP200 is a combination fingerprint and prox card reader. OP200 communicates via TCP/IP and outputs both Wiegand and OSDP to Lenel panels. Beside it, we have the model OP400, which is a combination face and prox card reader. OP400 also communicates via TCP/IP and can output both Wiegand and OSDP to Lenel panels. What makes ZKTecho Opera readers unique? Simply put, ZKTecho Opera readers are absolutely the fastest, easiest, most affordable way for Lenel customers to add biometric readers to their building security. Period. Regardless if you prefer fingerprint or facial recognition, the Opera series of readers uses the very same architecture. In any given installation scenario, one Opera reader will be designated as the master reader. All the other readers will be designated as slave readers. It's important to note that Opera readers can function either as master readers or slave readers. It all matters based upon which settings you choose when installing the Opera reader. The master reader has 3 primary functions. 1. It synchronizes user data with Lenel OnGuard. 2. It synchronizes biometric templates among all the Opera slave readers. 3. Enrollment of biometric templates. Now, the Opera slave readers have only 2 primary functions. 1. To store and match biometric templates, and 2. Upon a positive match, the slave reader will output that user's badge number to the Lenel panel via Wiegand or OSDP. Now, it's important to note that the slave readers do not unlock the door. Only the Lenel panel can actually unlock the door. ZKTecho Opera readers do not need expensive, complicated middleware. Instead, Opera readers have powerful firmware, which communicates with OnGuard and amongst other Opera readers. Some Opera firmware features include encrypted communication, a built-in web server, which allows users to log into the reader and manage the device, the ability to enroll biometric credentials and prox cards, the ability to store and match biometric credentials, the ability to perform automatic backup of biometric templates, both weakened and OSDP output for Lenel panel communication, a menu for configuring the Opera device settings, and automatic data synchronization amongst other Opera slave readers. Let's now review the Opera reader setup procedure, starting with the master reader. The master reader is used strictly for communication and biometric enrollment purposes. For this reason, we recommend purchasing a ZKAccess supplied desktop display stand and then mount the Opera reader onto it accordingly. We'll supply all the hardware. Keep the master reader in an office which is convenient for enrolling users' credentials. The Human Resources Department is a common choice. The master reader runs on 12-volt DC power and requires a hardwired network connection. Power up the master reader and configure its IP address. Be sure to make note of the master reader's IP address because it will be later programmed into OnGuard. The master reader's IP address will also be programmed into the slave readers during their installation. As previously noted, the most unique aspect of ZKAccess Opera biometric readers is that they don't require middleware. However, the Opera master reader does need to initially establish communication with OnGuard to obtain necessary user data. Therefore, a small software driver does need to be installed on the OnGuard computer. We refer to this software as the OP driver. Install the OP driver on the computer running OnGuard and then launch the driver. The OP driver needs only 3 pieces of information which will be entered and only one time, never again. The needed information includes 1. The OnGuard username, 2. The OnGuard password, and 3. The IP address of the master reader. This information is necessary for the master reader to establish communication with OnGuard and begin data synchronization with the master reader. Once this information is entered into the OP driver, OnGuard will automatically download the customer's user data to the master reader. After download is complete, the master reader is now ready for customers to begin enrolling their biometric credentials. The Opera series of readers can read both faces and fingerprints. However, there is only one way to enroll users' faces, and that is directly on the OP200 master face reader. But if instead you'll be enrolling users' fingerprints, there are 2 options. The first option is the easiest and most direct. Simply enroll users' fingerprints directly on the Opera master reader. Select from the master reader's menu, Add User. Then, enter the user's ID number when prompted. And then place the user's finger on the fingerprint sensor when prompted in order to record the fingerprint. Note that multiple fingerprints can be enrolled for each user. Additionally, the user's prox card can also be enrolled at this time. When enrollment is complete, the Opera master reader automatically downloads all the user's biometric credentials to all the Opera slave readers throughout the network. The second fingerprint enrollment option is indirect, but does allow the person enrolling users to enjoy the convenience of a computer's full-size keyboard and display. Instead of enrolling users' fingerprints directly on the Opera master, instead you can access the master's web server from your computer's web browser. Make sure you first connect to your computer a ZKAccess SLK20R fingerprint enrollment reader. SLK20R plugs directly into your computer's USB port. To begin fingerprint enrollment, open your computer's browser and then enter the IP address of the master reader. The fingerprint enrollment procedure using the master's web server is the very same procedure as if you were enrolling directly on the master reader itself. First, select from the master reader's menu, Add User. Then enter the user's ID number when prompted. And then place the user's finger on the fingerprint sensor when prompted in order to record the fingerprint. As previously noted, once enrollment is complete, the Opera Master Reader automatically downloads all the user's biometric credentials to all the Opera slave readers installed throughout the network. Let's now have a closer look at the Opera Reader's web server and its functionality. The Opera Reader's web server is very easy to navigate and operate. Features include fingerprint enrollment when using the ZKAccess enrollment reader, username and password authentication when logging into the master, highly secure HTTPS encrypted communication sessions when logging into the master, the ability to manage and configure Opera readers throughout the network, a review of transaction logs, the ability to perform backups of templates and transactions, the ability to perform firmware upgrades, and the ability to perform diagnostic tests of the Opera readers on the network. After the slave readers are mounted beside the doors, simply connect them to your network and power them on. Once the slave readers are powered on, enter the menu System and select Slave Reader as an option. You also need to enter the slave reader the IP address of the master reader. This will allow the slave readers to communicate with the master reader. Once the master reader's IP address is entered into the slave reader will then begin automatically synchronizing with the master reader to obtain all user data and templates. This completes the installation. The Opera readers are now fully operational and your building or doors are now biometrically secured. So here's what happens at the door from a user's perspective. When a user attempts door access by authenticating to the slave reader with their biometric credential or card, the slave reader will then query its database. If the slave reader is able to match the biometric credential, the slave reader will then output the user's badge number to the Lenel panel via Weekend or OSDP protocol. If the Lenel panel determines the user has necessary door access rights, then it's the Lenel panel which will subsequently unlock the door. It's very important to note that Opera readers do not connect to the door locks. Opera readers do not control the door. Only the Lenel panel can unlock doors. Only Lenel controls door access rights. So let's now have a look at the Opera price list and a description of the major components. In every Opera implementation, you must purchase the OP driver. Recall, the OP driver establishes initial communication between the master reader and OnGuard. Manufacturer's suggested retail price is $399 US. Next, we have the biometric enrollment options. If you wish to enroll directly on the Opera Master Reader, we recommend you purchase a display stand to mount the master on. Manufacturer's suggested retail price is $180 US. If during enrollment you prefer instead the comfort of a full-size keypad and display connected to your computer, then be sure to order an ZKAccess fingerprint enrollment reader. Manufacturer's suggested retail price is $180 US. OP200-HID reads fingerprints and HID cards. Manufacturer's suggested retail price is $1,120 US. OP-400-HID reads faces and HID cards. Manufacturer's suggested retail price is $1,318 US. Not shown on this slide are other less popular options which are included in the complete price list.